Good evening, and welcome to Cocktails in Literature. My name is Justin, and this is what I do. I drink, and I know things. In honor of the eagerly awaited Season 7 of A Game of Thrones, which begins airing this weekend, I'm going to read you a little passage from A Song of Fire and Ice, Book 1, titled A Game of Thrones, by George R.R. Martin, published in 1996. I'm going to read you two excerpts from chapter 42, and the character whose point of view is chapter 42 is that of Tyrion Lannister. Now Tyrion, as we know, loves to drink, and he loves to drink wine. And he mentions wine twice in this chapter. I'm going to read you both of those excerpts. But before I do, a little context as far as where we are in the story at this point. Tyrion has just recently met Bronn, and Bronn has won Tyrion's freedom in his trial by combat in the Vale. They have now left the Vale of Arryn and are making their way through the mountains back down to King's Landing. They're at their camp now, sitting about to have dinner, but they know that enemies are afoot, the Stone Crows specifically, and that the Stone Crows are going to chance upon them here shortly. That'll be the second passage that I read you. But first, an hour later, the horses had been rubbed down and fed. The fire was crackling away merrily, and a haunch of young goat was turning above the flames, spitting and hissing. All we lack now is some good wine to wash down our kid, Tyrion said. That, a woman, and another dozen swords, Bronn said. And now after dinner, when the Stone Crows do come upon their camp, Gunthor said, "Your silver is ours. Your horses are ours. Your hauberk and your battle axe and the knife at your belt, those are ours too. You have nothing to give us but your lives. How would you like to die, Tyrion, son of Tywin? In my own bed, with a belly full of wine and a maiden's mouth around my cock, at the age of 80, he replied. The huge one, Shagga, laughed first and loudest. In the land of Westeros, wine plays a major role. The best wine from their world comes from the Arbor. Some would argue that it comes from Dorne, but either way, fine wine from both locations. Dornish wine tends to be a little bit sweeter than the wines from the Arbor. Tyrion likes both. I've not talked to George R.R. Martin. What I'm about to say is complete speculation on my part. But when I read about wines from Dorne, when I read about the wines from the Arbor, it conjures up the real-life Burgundy in eastern France. Now, Burgundy answers the age-old question of, if you were stranded on a deserted island for the rest of your life, what would you drink? Burgundy is that answer. There's a small 30-mile stretch of land in the province of Burgundy called the Côte d'Or, which translates into the Golden Slope, which has some of the best winemaking lands on our planet. The Côte d'Or is divided into two halves. The northern half is called the Côte de Nuit, and the southern half is called the Côte de Beaune. Tonight we're going to drink a little bit from a little commune in the Côte de Nuit in northern Burgundy called Vaux-Romany. And like I said, Burgundy just really reminds me of the Arbor, Dorne. Whenever they're talking about wine in these books, in this show, this is what I think about. Some of the most exquisite and sought-after wines on the planet. In Burgundy, the two major varietals are, for whites, it's Chardonnay. For reds, it's Pinot Noir. Vaux-Romany, from the Côte de Nuit, in the Côte d'Or, in Burgundy, France. Some of the best wines on the planet. I'm drinking the 2012 vintage Charlatan from Vaux-Romany. Read the novels. Enjoy the show. Life is too short to drink cheap wine. Salud.